Good morning. My name is Susan Nawberry, hearing officer for San Francisco Public Works. Clinton Otwell is the clerk of this hearing. And the hearing is being recorded via Zoom and will be available afterward through a link on the San Francisco Public Works website at sfpublicworks.org. As this is a virtual hearing, there is no sign-in sheet. So if you would like to receive information about the results of this hearing, please send an email to the email address listed on the hearing notice. The public hearing is being held to consider one item, although it's listed as 3 items. First, we will call to order, which we've done. And second, we'll have public comment. Members of the public may address the hearing officer on matters that are within the department's jurisdiction, but not on today's agenda. And then we will hear hearing order 207265 to consider an application for a minor sidewalk encroachment permit 22 MSC 00127 for a new garbage enclosure 2.5 by 5, encroaching 2.5 into the 15-foot wide Grove Street public right-of-way shown in the plan titled Dimensions for Planned Garbage Enclosure, prepared by Jonathan Liu, dated July 7th, 2022. My job as a hearing officer is to gather the facts for the hearing item, listen to your testimonies, and help our Director of Public Works make determinations. I will not be making any decisions today. Instead, I will forward the findings from this hearing and make my recommendations to the Director. The Director will make the final determination. When the Director's determinations are made, the department will notify you of them, and you will have, if you have provided contact information. May I ask Public Works staff to present the case, please?
I will be sharing
Susan, before we get started, it looks like Eleanor has her hand up. Eleanor, did you need to unmute your microphone and you'll go ahead to speak? Or were you going to present for the department?
Hi, Clinton. Hi, Susan. I just want to make a correction that I'm not the presenter. Kathleen Leongson is a presenter for the item. So
Okay.
just want to make it on the record. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Sounds good.
Okay, sounds good. Can you guys hear me properly?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Let me, can I share the screen for the presentation? Okay, can you guys see my screen right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and then we would just ask that if you make it into present mode, that way
yeah,
we can see it.
sure.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So today's hearing is regarding a garbage enclosure on 583-585 Grove Street. And I just wanted to show you guys where the project will be. This is the project site. It's on the south side of Grove Street between Laguna and Octavia. And here are the garbage enclosure dimensions. It's going to be 60 inches by 30 inches on the east side of the property, fronting 583 Grove Street. So an SF DPW inspected the site for hardship, and they determined that an MSE is needed for the garbage enclosure. They sent out this email on March 11, 2022. And the applicant, Jonathan Liu, started their application with BSM Public Works regarding the minor encroachment permit. And then this is just the permit application. And as part of our review of their application, we had to refer the garbage enclosure to building and to fire. The fire's concerns is to make sure that the garbage enclosure isn't blocking any rescue window. And they wanted to make sure that it's not blocking a bedroom as well. And building also looked at the floor plan, which we asked the applicant Jonathan to provide. And they just wanted to make sure that the garbage enclosure isn't going to be affecting any of the ventilation in the building. And after review and referrals from both building and fire, they have determined that the garbage enclosure's location is the optimal location for it. And as part of the application process, the applicant also had to go through a notification process. They sent a letter to the property owners that are 100 feet, 150 feet radius within the project site. And after this notification process, we received 2 objections from citizens. Most of them are regarding the location of the enclosure. As you could see on the screen towards the left side of the property, if you're looking at the picture, there's a residential care facility, and the objections were regarding the safety and like path of travel of the people who live in that residential care facility. After further review, we looked at what the path of travel would be. As you can see on the screen, there's 63 inches, which is about 5.25 feet of path of travel between the bus stop and the garbage enclosure, which is greater than our minimal requirement, which is 4 feet for path of travel. And we also determined where the location would be the best for the garbage enclosure in terms of like to the left or to the right of the property, and where it is right now is the best location for it. And that is about it. We've done a review, and we've referred it to Building and Fire. They're both approved of the garbage enclosure, and we looked at the path of travel, and it meets the minimum requirements. And I will be here if you guys have any more further questions about the garbage enclosure.
Could you go back to the Google Street View? Sorry.
This one?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And so there's a shelter and then it's. for
Yeah,
it.
so this yellow building right here is the residential care facility. And then there's the bus stop here, and then the garbage enclosure would be somewhere in between those 2.
Got it. Okay. Great. Let's see. Are there any comments on this item from the public? Are there any members of the public present?
If you want to make comment, you just raise your hand, and I believe that is *6 from your mobile device to raise your hand. We have Salazar, and we also have Jonathan and Eleanor in the from the attendees list.
Okay. Oh yeah, so yeah, if you're dialing in your on your phone, dial *9 to indicate that you're raising your hand, and *6 to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak.
Thank you for clarifying that. I get it turned around every
you.
time.
Okay. And members of the public will have 3 minutes to provide your comments.
Okay, should I stop sharing the screen or keep it up?
Oh, it doesn't matter. It's up to you. Are there any members of the public wish to speak on this item? Raise your hand or dial *9. Give it a few seconds. Okay. Would the applicant like to speak on this item?
Well, let's see, Jonathan Liu, we will allow you to speak.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
So I had a presentation. I think I sent it to Kathleen, or I can share it too, but I feel like Kathleen has covered quite a bit in her presentation. So I don't know what the process is, so I'm happy to do whatever.
Yeah, would you like to share your screen or just make?
I believe I have access to the presentation if you would like me to print it up as well. I think it's
Sure. Yeah. And we can breeze through it because I think I think Kathleen has covered quite a bit of it. I just can give a little bit more background about the process.
Sure, go ahead.
I'm going to go ahead and start sharing. I just want to get this open and make sure I have the right one. It may be the exact same thing. It is the exact same thing. It's the exact same presentation. Jonathan, did you email it to
I can put it up in the folder right now. Give me
Okay, great.
a few sec- Yeah.
And Jonathan, you said you had a question?
No, I mean, if
Okay.
Kathleen is pulling it up, then, you
Yeah.
know, I can like breeze through it quickly.
Yeah, once it gets, she puts it in the folder, I'll open it up.
Okay, I just put it in the folder. I'm not sure if you could see it, Clinton. It should be a PDF.
Okay. It is the concern number 1, concern number 2, dimension plan or the hearing order. Did you
I-
put it in the W drive?
Yes, it should be the 22 MSE 00127 public
Got it.
hearing
I got it.
presentation.
Awesome. Love it when a plan comes together. All right, here we go. And go ahead, Jonathan, if you'd like to speak.
Yeah, perfect. So like I mentioned, some of this would be, you know, stuff that Kathleen has already covered, so we'll breeze through it. But I just thought I'd give a quick introduction to myself. I love San Francisco. I moved here 15 years ago. I actually had a Facebook memory this morning. I said I was San Francisco bound. So this time, 15 years ago, I was on a plane moving to San Francisco. And I didn't realize that I would fall in love with it and make it home. So I've been a long time North Beach resident till this year. So 15 years in North Beach. And last year, I think, you know, during a pandemic, when, you know, folks were leaving, I was doubling down in San Francisco. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make my roots here and buy my first home, which is where we are. On the next slide, you know, this is like a summary of like the property. I think it says it was built in 1900. There might be an estimate, it might be older than that. My knowledge was, you know, it was a long-term vacant property prior to the sale. Which we knew there was going to be work that needed to be put in. You know, finding a contractor to work on it after closing on it in July. It took a while to find a contractor last year, but we finally did. And that's when we, you know, that did things like filing electrical permits in January and started, you know, doing work to get the property, you know, up to speed. So yeah, you know, we already covered some of this. You know, there are limitations with this old property where it's boxed in on all sides but the front. And this is where, you know, we went through the process of the encroachment permit. This was the recommendation letter where they talked about, you know, how why, you know, they're recommending it and how the department had reviewed the plan and determined that there is sufficient path of travel and that this is the optimal location. Just the other note, like I think, you know, I would love garbage service because it's a convenient, like, you know, modern, it's a utility basically, right? But just finding a place to store it was, you know, the issue. Also noting that, you know, it's mandatory really, according to the Department of Public Health. But, you know, I obviously too, I'd like to have it because it's a, you know, an important utility. And just additional impact, like, you know, I'd love to rent 583 Grove Street, but, you know, I've been leaving unrented until we can resolve this garbage storage issue. And, you know, I know that there are empty properties out there and I'm not trying to keep it empty, you know, so hopefully we can find a resolution and I think that could help, you know. So in summary, I'm invested in this home. Obviously, I spent time, money, and effort to, you know, get it, you know, to where it is right now. And I'm also invested in the city of San Francisco, making it home. It's an old property like we mentioned, so there are hardships in terms of where to store these bins. But you know, it's been an interesting process. It's you know, but I like to thank the Department of Public Works for educating me through the process and working to find solutions. Specifically Kathleen, you know, I think I've been working with Kathleen, you know, just editing the dimension plans and understanding, you know, next steps and just walking through this whole process. So yeah, hopefully coming out of this hearing, you know, we can find a solution that works.
Great, thank you. Are there any additional public comments? Let's see, and this is for anyone who might have come late or didn't have a chance to speak. Anyone else that would like to give any additional comments? Okay. Thank you for that presentation, Jonathan. Thank you, Kathleen. And if there are no more public comments, I'm closing this hearing. Okay, and the hearing is now